That's me at Luton Airport, and I'm about to travel to Scotland, to Aberdeen. You can see it's very empty. I mean, there are some passengers I can see in the background, but it looks very quiet. You can see the airport is quite empty. I mean, there are more passengers and more flights than I expected, but it's nowhere near what I can remember prior to pandemic in March. But only passengers can come inside the terminal building, and obviously employees, but any other people are not allowed to enter. So if wearing a face mask is mandatory and keeping a social distance. And now I'm about to go and head to departure, so let's see how things are inside. It's a bit busier than I expected. Still, I thought there'll be less flights and less passengers, but there are quite a few people around, and many shops, restaurants, and the lounges are closed. So, feels very strange, as Luton is known for being quite cluttered and cramped airport. And that's me flying with easyJet for the first time this year, I think. And the flight is full, believe me or not. But there are not many flights going to Aberdeen, so I'm not surprised that probably London is one of the main gateways from Europe back home to Scotland.
Good afternoon from the flight deck. I'm Captain Mark Fenton, and welcome aboard this easyJet Airbus up to Aberdeen.
And that's me on board of easyJet flight to Aberdeen, and you can see the flight is quite busy, but it's not full. I've got the whole row, actually 2 rows for myself.
As a result of the outbreak of Covid-19, the Public Health Authority recommend that everyone should ensure frequent hand washing with soap and water, that you cover your mouth and nose when sneezing or coughing, and that you avoid touching your face.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Aberdeen, Scotland Park. Be aware of social distancing and allow time and space as you leave the aircraft.
And that's me in Aberdeen Airport, and I'm back here after 2 years, I think. And that's where I used to live before and I did my undergraduate here. But it's nice to be back in Scotland, even though it's raining. It's going to rain for the next few days, so not lucky with the weather, but what can you expect when you're in Scotland? principals of Aberdeen, and that's the Marshall College. It used to be University of Aberdeen, but it was leased for the City Council. I think it is for 100 years, and then it will return to university. But that's one of the symbols of the city, and also one of the main meeting points. I'm now on Union Street at the pub called The Grill. I used to work here when I was a student in Aberdeen, and what I like here is it's quite organized with social distancing, and the pub staff is actually checking if people are not walking between each other. So I feel like safety here is really looked after. Obviously Scottish people are a bit crazy with alcohol, but that's something nice. But I feel like the rules are much more executed here in comparison down south, at least from my experience. So na zdrowie for Scotland. Cheers for Scotland. How was your cider, Gaffrey?
Cider's good, yes.
Yes, good. And that's me outside Marshall College in the daytime, and you can see I'm quite lucky with the weather. It's much warmer and it doesn't rain, so it's an ideal time to go and explore this amazing city in the daylight with a bit of sunshine, and that's when the granite looks the best. I'm on Union Street now, which is the main street of Aberdeen, and that's a long shopping street, although I wish it was fully pedestrian, but sadly the cars and buses are going through the road. But that's considered the center of Aberdeen, and this beautiful clock tower, which is one of the symbols of the city. Now I'm seeing my good friend from university called David. David, say hello.
Hi everyone.
At Castle Gate just now, and that's one of the main meeting points in Aberdeen, and that's at the beginning of Union Street, and you can see it's quiet here, although the city isn't quiet. And that's Aberdeen Beach, and you can see it's not very busy, although it has some people around. But again, the weather is much nicer than I anticipated, so quite lucky. I'm outside the University of Aberdeen, which is the 5th oldest university in the UK. You can see it's very beautiful here. It's located in the old Aberdeen, and yeah, I can't see any students around. I'm at the Stonehaven beach, which is a great place to start your walk towards the castle, Dunnottar Castle. It takes quite a while, and obviously depending on the weather it may be quicker or slower. When visiting Aberdeen, you definitely need to come to Stonehaven, which is only a couple of miles away from Aberdeen. And you can see the views of the North Sea, and the castle are just stunning. And it's not as busy as it can get during the weekends, which is quite nice. But the castle is closed now due to Covid-19, so I can't go inside.
We are in Dunnottar Castle in Scotland, which was the story behind Count Dracula, Bram Stoker.
The views over the Dunnottar Castle and the North Sea are just stunning, as you can see. The sound of the sea and such beautiful views are amazing. That's me back at Aberdeen Airport, and I'm about to head back to London. Had a really nice time here in Scotland. The weather was much better than I expected, and I must say that I feel quite safe here. There are a lot of restrictions in place and things seem to function quite normal. Lots of social distancing, staff being well trained to monitor people movement. So I feel like Scotland is addressing the problem quite well. And it's lovely to be back in a city which was my second home and always will be my second home. There's only one flight this evening to London Luton. That's me about to head back to London. And that's me back in Luton.